So stem cells, there's a whole range of different stem cell treatments that are out there. This, of course, all came out of the work of Yamanaka back in 2006, who developed or determined that we could reverse a human cell back to a very primitive embryonic type state through manipulating what we now call the Yamanaka factors. And so there's sort of two things that came out of that. One is that we developed a whole range of stem cell treatments, but I think equally important, at least for many of us, is we now believe that it's possible to reverse the age of the body. And the difference between one cell in the body is like the difference between the Wright brothers flyer and the 787 that you flew across the Atlantic on the other day, okay? So two things came out of it. But on the stem cell side, there are a lot of different people using a lot of different treatments and ways of applying stem cells. And most of them are creating stem cells for therapeutic use that are fairly large, in the sense that they can't get through the smaller capillaries in the body, so they can't be treated systemically. Now, the stem cells that I've been getting are somewhat different. And this comes out of research that was done in Cambridge, England. And these are what are called VSELs, very small embryonic-like stem cells. And the work in Cambridge determined that our blood cells contain very small stem cells that become dormant during the fetal stage of development. They're in your body forever, but they don't do anything. Why they're still there, I don't know. Evolutionary-wise, you'd think they might have gone, but whatever. However, what they determined in Cambridge was that it was possible to reactivate these stem cells, these VSELs. And the therapy as it now exists is the following. We take a sample of blood, 60, 70 cc's, 66 cc's, I think is what they use, of blood, and you spin it down using a centrifuge to create or extract the PRP, the platelet-rich plasma. And then you take this platelet-rich plasma and you activate it, which is where the embryonic stem cells are. You activate that using light of a particular frequency, laser light type of application. And then you re-inject that into the body. So from a safety point of view, what you've got is a very safe situation. You've got a bit of your own blood being extracted, being treated with a light, which doesn't touch it other than to radiate it, and you stick that back in your body. So it really couldn't be anything safer than that. The question is, does it work? And what we find is that it's incredibly effective. Now, the body can be targeted. As I said, this is a systemic treatment. So you just inject it back into your arm with an IV push. But you can target to some extent where those stem cells will go by radiating parts of the body with that same laser light. And it's a particular device. It's called an SONG laser, and it penetrates into the body tissues. And you can target, for example, the brain or the vagus nerve or a knee or whatever. And the VSELs will be somewhat attracted into that area so as to be active there. And we have seen, both my wife and I, some very significant success with this. So, for example, I had my vagus nerve treated. And the vagus nerve is the one that goes between the brain and the gut. And my digestive system has been a mess for decades, probably as a result of far too many antibiotics. And when it was treated with this VSEL treatment the other week, or a few months ago actually now, my digestive system changed overnight.
How so? What did you notice that was different?
Much, much better, much better. My digestive system is just working a lot better than it did. The one thing that might be a little bit negative is I seem to have put on a couple of pounds. I'm going to have to take a look at that.
So better digestion, maybe eating more food or extracting more energy from food.
Probably extracting more from the food. Uh, my wife has had, as I said, some mental issues from the Cipro, and we treated her brain with this. And the day after she was treated, um, we were talking about taking her back to the clinic for some follow-up therapies. And so I said, well, I'll spend the morning with you, but after the morning session, you can go back to my son's home where we were staying in an Uber because I want to go to an AI conference. And she looked at me and said, AI conference? I'm going. And she's a mathematician, not a surprising thing for a mathematician to say, but she'd been so out of it that I was just stunned. And then she said, oh my gosh, I've got to get my hair done. Oh my gosh, I've got to get a dress to wear. And she was just a different person in 24 hours. So, that was really pretty incredible stuff. It's affected my knees. They're much better. I had a problem where 40 years ago now, I was running on a beach in the Bahamas and I damaged my right knee. And, I was back in the days when people said no pain, no gain, and it started to hurt. I just kept going. Now I know if there's pain, you stop. Okay. Anyway, I had this injection and my knee was repaired in about a week. I haven't had any trouble with it since. It's just amazing stuff. And again, you can target it to some extent, but on the other hand, it's a resource that's there and it goes where it goes. I've got a lot of respect for my brain and my DNA. I'm sure it'll look after me.